Warning, the following video contains MLP-related content. It also contains at least one or more of the following: cursing, violence, immature jokes, funny reactions, or verbal not safe for work content. If you do not wish to view anything that may contain any of these, please immediately go to your previous page. Otherwise, stick around and enjoy the show.
Hello everyone, Brony44 here, and I am finally back to more reactions. This time around we are actually getting around to looking at episode 12 of Know Your Mare. This is kind of why I said finally getting back to it. Now, I'm actually not confused as to why it's episode 12, because, I mean, I was when I got in a comment regarding this, saying that, you know, this was actually out now, but I went and did a little research into it, and I figured out why it's episode 12, and apparently they're having some issues getting back with some of the animators and stuff who are in charge of working on the other episodes that have been skipped so far, and they're having issues with one of the other ones as well. That's for a different reason, but that's why we're up to episode 12 as opposed to getting episode 11, and we're still missing episode 9 as well. So until that happens, we've got this one. So I'm curious to see what's gonna happen here, and let's go ahead and take a look at this. Right before we start this, though, I will point out that I did end up finding out that the person who worked on this episode here was a new recruit. So I'm expecting there to be maybe some improvements, maybe some differences, at the very least differences, between this one and some of the other ones. But let's go ahead and see how this person did with this one. So let's do so in 3, 2, 1, go.
No, you're there. No, you're there. No,
okay, we can tell right off the bat that's a different font than normal.
Shining armor.
It's a lot bigger
He
too.
has family issues.
No way! Twiley and I worked through our little argument. It was my fault, so I hid most of the working through after the wedding.
Shining armor is embarrassed of his sister.
Why would I be embarrassed? She runs her own library. She's the star student of Princess Celestia herself.
She's an
as well
alicorn.
as being a holder of one of the elements of harmony. I'm honored to have her as my sister.
Shining
You didn't mention the fact that
armor
she's an
used
alicorn.
his sister to get closer to Cadence.
Alright, I sorta did. I'll give you that one. You have to use what you have to get your hoof into the front door, right?
Shining
This is
armor
kind of being honest.
is only nice to Twilight Sparkle because it makes him look good to Cadence.
Are you saying my love for my sister is fake? That's low. I love my sister with my whole heart. Don't you ever doubt that.
Oh, is that so?
It is.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I got a bad feeling about this.
Shining armor has romantic feelings for his little sister.
Hey! Keep your sick ideas in your own head. I love my sister, but not like that.
Shining armor
You're talking to
is
this
torn between his sister and his wife.
I'm not torn between any pony.
Then who do you love more?
What?
Cadence or Twilight? Who do you love more, Shining armor?
Cadence.
Well, that is to say, it's a matter of different categories of love, you know?
Shining armor has some psychiatric feelings to sort through.
What's that supposed to mean?
Wow.
Now you know, Shining armor.
Shining armor, are you
You
aware
can't
that you're
just cut
talking
me
to
off
Discord?
there. I'm captain of the Royal Guard. I will see you put on trial for this kind of talk.
You will be judged, juried, and executed. Death penalty. Whoosh. Guillotine! Guillotine! I don't know. I don't think Shining Armor was actually aware that it was Discord doing it. Also, oh god, Brony's production. Okay, so that was Know Your Mare episode 12. I can definitely tell that this was a new recruit who did this. It seemed like there were some differences regarding this. I mean, for starters, we'll get off the basics here, is that the font thing that they used for the Know Your Mare and for the subtitles for themselves when Discord was talking, they were different. They were a lot bigger, and So you could tell that there was a difference there. It's not really that big of a deal, but I'm just saying that was something that I noticed, because all the other episodes was, to my knowledge, the same thing, but this one was noticeably different. I know because it wasn't too long ago when I did my reaction to episode 10 for Pinkie Pie, and I know that there's a big difference between those two. Another thing is that I did notice that whoever it was that was in charge of this episode wasn't as, I guess, experienced with animating as some of the other ones who worked on the previous episodes, because there wasn't a whole lot of, movement or anything. Like, I'm going to use this one as an example again, but for Pinkie Pies and stuff, there was a lot more, like, facial expressions and, like, her moving her hoofs around and stuff as she's talking and, stuff like that. But for this one, for Shiny Armor, it seemed like it was a little less on there, so I'm wondering if maybe one of the I'm wondering if the person that they recruited for this was more or less a rookie in the animating field. If that's the case, then this was probably done as some kind of, like, test or something, just to see, like, how the animator is doing and whether or not he or she is worthwhile keeping into the group, and, decide, like, how much help it is that they need in order to better themselves as an animator. If that's the case, then it's an interesting attempt, or it's an interesting way of having them, show what it is that they can do by producing their own episode for this. The topic at hand of what Shining Armor and Discord had their little talk about was a little odd, and also touched on a very odd topic as well about, incest. But Shining Armor's stupid, though, because when Discord said, who do you love more, Cadence or Twilight? Instead of being like, different reasons and blah, he should have just said, I love Cadence more because she's my wife, but I still love Twilight as my sister. Not that complex. It's really not that complex to freaking explain that. Like, now, if he had to say something like, now if Discord ended up retaliating with this, like saying, so only one of the two can survive, Cadence or Twilight, who would you choose? Well, that becomes an interesting scenario for two reasons, actually. One, that he would have to decide between his wife and his sister. His sister Twilight would most likely say, choose Cadence. Cadence, however, would most likely say, choose Twilight. But, on the other hand here, at this point in time, like, I'm going off of the idea of, like, when this episode released. So, yeah. If I recall, the entire plot line of this is actually before Season 3. So, yeah. But if it's not before Season 3, then Twilight would be an alicorn. So what's going on that would potentially kill her? I mean, like I said this before in a few other videos before, basically saying that you're an alicorn, you're immortal, but in terms of aging, you can still die, but you can't just age to death. Like, you age until your prime, and then you stop. So, by the way, that's always a weird, like, thing there. It's like, how does your body know when to stop aging? That's something I always wondered about. But, anyways, one other thing is that this is called Know Your Mare, but yet they've added a couple characters in here that aren't mares. They had Spike on there earlier, and then they had Shining Armor. Neither of which are mares, and one of them is in fact not even a pony. So, the fact that you go to a show called Know Your Mare and you see Shining Armor, that kind of raises a little confusion. Like, why? Doesn't make any sense, but, I'll admit, though, that this was not my favorite episode in the Know Your Mare series. In fact, it might be my least favorite. But, it's, like I said before, I'm thinking that this person who did this was new to animating and, you know, everything like that. Like, everything here was, everyone who was involved here was new to it. So, if that's the case, then I can cut him some slack, because that, sure. Because not everybody's first attempt at whatever it is that they're going to do is going to be great. I mean, to be honest, I sometimes look back at my first reaction I ever did to this channel, and even though there's quite a few people who still like it, I go back and look at it, and I'm just like, like, I don't hate it, but it's just like, I see, like, numerous things that I could have done better. Like, for example, I could have had a much better camera. Like, the camera that I had before wasn't bad. It still did 720p. It wasn't bad. It was still recording in HD. But I never tinkered with the options in order to get the lighting and stuff right. So on my first video, I recorded at night, so that was one issue. But I didn't mess with the settings to make it look nice, so it was kind of weird looking, and I think I was just overly loud in the video itself. But that's just me. But if that's how I'm feeling regarding my stuff, then who knows how this person's going to be feeling about their stuff, you know, a year or two down the line when they're actually making really good stuff. So as long as that person who did this is actually getting help and is actually improving upon this, then this was still something worthwhile to do, because at least it gives you a stepping stone to start with. But anyways, that's going to be it about it for my take on this reaction, everybody. This was definitely not one of the humor reactions, really. This was kind of just like our way of seeing an a potential early anime, because like I said, I don't know if this is for a fact, but I'm pretty certain that the person who did this must have been new to this. But if that's the case, and this was just more or less a video of seeing someone's early work, and then like a year or two later, we might see something from there that's actually really badass. But like I said, that's going to be it, everybody. So, if you enjoyed this video, at least half as much as I did, then leave a like down below. And if you have not done so already, because you know I would not, then you can click out here in order to subscribe. And that'll let you stay up to date on the content I make in the near future, because I intend to update this stuff fairly frequently, and maybe I don't want to miss out. So, without further ado, this is Brony Monster 44 saying, see you guys later.